Hey folks, I'm at the, what's this place called, Jake? Half Whiskey Saloon in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. And I'm gonna do a seminar on basically how to road trip on the cheap. Let's go. Hey folks, I'm Jeff Little, sales manager for Boondocks, and I'm gonna talk about doing this whole road trip kayak fishing adventure thing with the focus being that you're actually doing it and not staying home because it's too expensive. So let me get a show of hands of who here is independently wealthy and just filthy stinking rich. No hands. No. Someone tried to push a hand up. It's good. I'm in similar company. You know that it's expensive, and what I've seen over the years is that at least on the kayak fishing trails, fewer and fewer people are doing the national level ones. They're staying home to do their locals, which is great. Support your local trails, but it's disheartening to see over the last 3-4 years with the economy going down, we can't afford to make this, 5-6 times a year. Let's drive halfway across the country to go fish somewhere that's a dream destination. And a lot of what we're developing at Boondocks, and I have some of the products here that we'll talk about, really centers around how to make it so you can still afford to go. But it's not all going to be product talk. We're also going to talk about different apps and different practices, different things that you can do to save yourself money so that you're not, after a trip coming home and saying, look at the credit card bill. I can't do this again in September like I wanted to. Let's look at some things that will help you out. Let me get some brainstorming going. What do you spend money on a road trip? What's something that, when do you pull the credit card out? What are you paying for? Anybody? Food. Okay, we're going to talk about food. What else? Lodging is probably the biggest one. Yeah, lodging is, and that's where we'll talk about the drifter, we'll talk about the rooftop tent, and we'll talk about some other things here in a bit. How about gas? Gas is a big one, and it goes up and down, and we have no control of that. And just stuff that happens. You get a blowout on your trailer, and you got to deal with that in the moment, or you park at the wrong ramp and you come back from your float trip and your catalytic converter's gone. I have no tips for that, but that happens at times, and those are those unexpected costs.
Tackle.
What did you say, Jake?
Extra tackle.
Extra tackle. So tackle is another one that I really can't help you with, because I drive around and visit these tackle shops and kayak shops, and man, it always gets me. I go there to sell Boondocks equipment and end up we won't get into that. So lodging, what are our options? What are you guys doing at this trip? Where are you staying? Campground or RV park or what? RV park. So RV parks, for me thus far, and I'll go through all the different things that I've done so far. RV parks are kind of my least favorite in terms of that they're crazy expensive for what you get out of it. Usually you're parking somewhere that you would have an RV park, and you're hooking up to the sewer, the electric, and it's just more expensive than it needs to be for what you get. I think what's that? Right. And then it's made for you. But honestly, I prefer the sort of experience of being, in a place where I'm not smelling another man's smoke and listening to him jam out, Led Zeppelin at full blast at 10 p.m. That's an RV park to me. So, where I like to stay, actually, I'll just go through the other ones. Airbnb is another one, and I'll tell you, this always happens. A bunch of buddies go in on an Airbnb, and someone doesn't know until last minute, hey, can I go? And they're last ones to get into the Airbnb, and someone's like, you know what? Mike just took the pull-out couch, and we got nothing left. Can you buy an air mattress on the way? Or people do that, but this sets up in the drifter hammock. So it's a $300 product, and hammock in stand. It'll set up in the hallway if you need it to, so it doesn't take up a lot of space. And we do make them in Thomasville, North Carolina. We'll get more about camping in this in a minute. But Airbnb is one. Hotel is probably the most expensive. The RV park is there. Campgrounds are good, but then there's options of places that you can go for free. Now, there's a difference between parking an RV, or I think my Toyota Tundra out there with a rooftop tent, loosely, like it fits into where RV or overnight parking is allowed because it's self-contained. I'm not pulling a tent or this hammock out. When you pull a hammock out and you're really camping outside and sleeping outside of the vehicle, that's kind of different, and that is boondocking, right? Where you're tent camping, and that kind of thing is not what I'm about to talk about. But let me talk about the different free places that you can. And I did it on the way out here. I'll just tell you what I did. So I went from home to North Carolina, where boondock stuff is all made. Put the rod tube in there and did some install stuff, and then I drove. This is all in one day. I got as far as Knoxville. You're a little bit west of Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's 12:30 a.m. I pulled over at a Lowe's parking lot, and you can do this at Lowe's and Home Depot. I'll go through a couple other ones that you do, Cracker Barrel and Camping World. So I just backed into a spot. I did a loop where I drove around and I looked at the light post, and I'm looking for signs that say no overnight parking. If they say that, it's not cool. If they don't say that, both Lowe's and Home Depot are like, that they don't touch it, but because they know that, hey, if you're parking your RV there, you're probably gonna need something on the way out and you're gonna be a customer. And that's sort of the thing that, that they hope you do. Let me go through some of the places that you can do that. I mentioned Home Depot, Lowe's, and actually I got a video coming out on Sunday, which is that trip of parking at the Lowe's, and then I do I actually park my rig on the side of the river somewhere in Oklahoma and use the rooftop tent. Cracker Barrel, Camping World, rest areas, yes. Casinos, a lot of casinos when you move kind of west of here. It depends, certain ones let you do it. And then the Walmart parking lot. I've not done the Walmart parking lot thing because I think there's just too many crackheads at Walmarts, so I'm choosing the other ones. So that leaves you with, okay, you've had a place where you can stay and you can sleep. What about a shower? Anyone done the truck stop shower thing? No? You have. How was it?
Depends on where you go.
Yeah, it depends on where you go.
It depends on where you go.
Yeah.
So it's hit or miss, whether it's a good, clean experience or one that is fraught with, disgusting things. I've only had good, clean experiences, and I've done it twice, and it was at the same one near Erie, Lake Erie in Erie, Pennsylvania. I think it was the Flying J, right? And it was good. Like, I paid my $17, went in there, and just, the lady had just finished cleaning it, and I'm like, this space I'm stepping into to get myself clean after a day of fishing on Presque Isle Bay is cleaner than any hotel. I was happy with it, but it is hit or miss. So the one that I did in between staying at the Lowe's parking lot in Knoxville in my first dealer visit. So I went from camping in the rooftop tent to doing dealer visits and needing to look, professional and have a shave. And so I got a Planet Fitness membership. So it's good to get a workout on the road, but it's also for the showers. So I got the black card, and it's $30 a month. So for $30 a month, you can shower wherever you are. And that's money out of pocket, but then again, you think about it, if you do this, if you save yourself a hotel room once a month, year round, you're ahead in doing this free stay, and then you get your shower and you get yourself cleaned up. I did get a workout there, and it's because when you drive for 16 hours in a day, man, you need to move your muscles a little bit. So I got the workout, got the shower, went and did my dealer visits. So that's a good way to do it. Let me get calibrated back on my list here. So the other thing I've done is Harvest Host, and it is a subscription thing where it's really for RVers, but they have an add-on called Boondockers Welcome, and I've done this several different times. I did it at up at Lake Erie. I've done it somewhere in Toledo. I've done it on the upper Juniata River in Pennsylvania. But basically, you pay the $100 a year for the Harvest Host subscription, and then I added the thing for $30. It was Boondockers Welcome. So Harvest Host is if you have a self-contained like RV rig and you have your own toilet in your enclosed space. Boondockers Welcome is more of, hey, I'm going to show up and I'm camping out of the car or the truck and I'm going to set up my tent there. That's boondocking, right? And the Boondockers Welcome thing, when you look at, you basically pull up your phone and you say, hey, I'm going to be here in Poplar Bluff. You pull up the app, the Harvest Host, and you start looking for places. Much like Airbnb, you say, I want to stay here. Here's a block of dates where it's available, and you request to stay. And it'll tell you whether they can do the same day. Some of them don't, most of them don't, but you got to plan ahead a little bit. And some of them do take same day reservations, and you request it, much like you request to stay with Airbnb. The only difference is once you request to, stay at Airbnb, you're charged for that stay. Harvest Host, you've paid for it with your subscription. So there's some rules associated with it that you need to pay attention so you get good ratings and that people continue to accept your request for a stay at a Harvest Host. And there'll be places like, some of them are farms, some of them are wineries and vineyards or brew pubs or just someone's, a lot of the times it's just someone's property where they live, and they say, yeah, you can go in the back 40 there, have at it. So Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome is a good way to do it. There's other apps that I use along the way. Let me see if I can pull up. We have, let's see, Hip Camp is one, The Dirt, All Stays. These are different apps that you can open up and basically find places that are free camping. So I've stayed at wildlife management areas. A lot of state agency, and even Army Corps of Engineers has some pretty inexpensive camping opportunities, but a lot of them are free that you can just, basically register. And I actually found one close to here. Actually, I'm in, which one did I just jump into? Hip Camp. Hip Camp is more like, hey, we're going to find the different ones that you pay for, but there's The Dirt, which DYRT is the one that has more of the free stuff, the more dispersed camping. So you gotta, and I'll be honest, I'm learning this as I go. I've done, a lot of road trip through my job, working for Torquedo now for Boondocks, and pulling away from just hotel has been a good thing. You had a question?
I use All Trails a lot.
All Trails.
Because I also do hiking, overnight hiking.
Right.
So, and you can find dispersed camping type sites on there with your All Trails. It's free, or you can have the subscription a lot like The Dirt. I was using that one for a while. All Trails pulls up all your trails. You can get pictures, campsites, and don't overlook, when you're traveling that way, don't overlook the walk-in campsites when you're bouncing through your parks, because those tend to go last, and a lot of times it's a few hundred feet you have to walk into a campsite.
Cool, good tips. And like I said, I'm continuing to learn. I've done a good bit of this, but there are experiences I've had where I'm like, I'm not doing that again, and other ones are like, I can't wait to do that again. So you got to get out there and try it. But what sort of unlocks all of it? Like, you need a certain amount of equipment to be able to do it. Do you need a full-on RV? I tell you, the kind of fishing that I do, I don't want to have an RV. That's a hindrance. That's something that I'm dragging down a dirt road that I can't turn this thing around in, and those are the places I like to fish. So the least expensive way, and I did a lot of videography on this early in the year, is really just camping out of out of this, the Drifter, right? This is a $300 setup, and you know, the hammock, all this stuff is made in Thomasville, North Carolina, right? The frame, there's a woman that is down in the upholstery division that sits there with a sewing machine and stitches this up, all US made stuff. But for 300 bucks, this is a good option for everything from, hey, I need that spot to crash out at the Airbnb, to, hey, I'm doing that thing where I drive for 8 hours on a Friday and get to where I'm going to fish the next day for the tournament, you know, launch time at 6 a.m. and I sleep in the front. Stop sleeping in the front seat of your truck or your vehicle. You don't sleep well and you don't fish well the next day. I know my buddy Matt Ball, I kept watching him do it and him not perform well in tournaments, and he got one of these and actually the last tournament in West Virginia in the South Branch of the Potomac, he did well and he slept in this thing, you know, right next to the truck. One thing that you will need is that we're in the process of developing is the rain fly, and I tested it last night. I edited the video or not last night, the night before on a local creek, and the rain fly and the bug net. I have an Eno bug net. So a couple extra things that really unlock being able to do this, and I'd say this is, you know, one of the less expensive ways to do it, and it affords you the ability to camp out on the river, on the water as well. So this is, you know, a very inexpensive way to continue to have these adventures. If you look at my vehicle down the road, I have the Toyota Tundra. We also sell a $5,000 rooftop tent in the gearboxes that support it. So you're stepping up in your investment. You're still nowhere near the level of an RV, but that's another level of how quick it sets up and how easy, and also how many different places, because I can't pull this out in the parking lot at Lowe's. Like, that's something that they are going to say something, and you're going to get a police officer, move along, bum, right? So the whole rooftop tent thing, or camping in the truck cab, you know, getting the truck cab. If you want to see a really cool truck cab setup, watch the video where I camped. It was at Dworshak Reservoir. You'll find it on my YouTube channel as The Little Stuff, but it's me holding a 7-pound, 1-ounce smallmouth. You'll see it. But look at, there's that one, and then the one right before it is Brandon Waugh, who's out in Portland, Oregon. He does a lot of the kayak fishing trails out there, and he has a very nice truck cap setup. So that's another option. We talked about shower. Let's talk about gas. Look at how your load is carried. Obviously, there are certain ways that you can carry your kayaks and your other gear that have more or less wind resistance. Trying to keep it low in the bed is something that catches less wind if you can do that, and put the Boondocks T-bone on the back. Keeping all that low really helps with the gas. The other thing is, and either you're going to do it or you're not. And I average over 40,000 miles a year on the road in my sales position and doing all these tournaments and trade shows. Like, I'm going from here to Orlando for ICAST next after this. I drive in the middle or right lane. If the gas is too much for you to have your next kayak fishing adventure somewhere, get out of the left lane. Like, driving at 80 mile an hour in the left lane, and you complain about the cost of gas, just calm down. Like, spend another hour getting to where you are. You're going to be safer, but the amount of gas that you're going to save by just doing the speed limit +5, not just hammering on it, getting everywhere like, the world's on fire behind you or something. Stop doing that, because you will save money on gas in particular. Let's talk about food. The biggest thing with food and actually doing all these road trips, and we all like to eat out. We all like to have a group of friends and say, hey, we've pre-fished, had a great day on the water, we get off and we still have 2 more days of pre-fishing. Where are we going to eat tonight? All right, if you do that time after time after time, Usually when you're eating out, you're not eating real healthy and you just get run down. And B, it just adds up, especially at sit-down places. What I have here is a cooler that I keep stocked. I have healthy stuff in there. I've got my yogurt that I mix with the cereal. I got kale. I actually have a degree in dietetics, which is human nutrition, so I do healthy stuff. I got fresh ginger in there, and but here's the thing. I shop at Aldi's. There's an Aldi's here in town. Like, just save some money. But even if you're not going to do that, and it is a good option, I make sandwiches along the way. Stop eating out, because that is going to kill your wallet, and you're going to say, I can't afford to do these things. Make your meals. Go grocery shopping. I know groceries are more expensive, but nothing's as expensive as eating out. So this is just the Yeti 65. We have I got it on the wheels, and basically you got a couple different products here. It's the cooler tug, so you can wheel this out wherever it needs to be. It's got the quad rod where the 4 rod holders there, so you can sit there and camp and set them up and work on retime leaders or whatever you need to do. But it also goes on a trailer hitch, which is the cool lock. This rides right behind my truck in the trailer hitch in a way that I can pull over to a rest stop, open this up, make myself a sandwich or eat my breakfast, pack it up, and keep going. I didn't stop and I love me some Chick-fil-A burritos for breakfast, but like that adds up in being more expensive. So buy your food at the grocery store. Also with drinks, this is another cheapy one. I always refill the Nalgene, and I bring my own, and I'm happy to have, we live on a farm in Maryland, I bring this big thing of our well water, which I like the taste of it, and it's inexpensive. The cost of beverages over the course of a trip does add up. So I drink a lot of water.